This is Omari Kellyman. He is a high potential 17-year-old who starts Football Manager 2024 in Aston Villa's under-21s team. He is going to be the subject of today's video and the guinea pig in my experiment. In this video, I'm going to take a look at player development in young players. Is it more beneficial to use the loan system or develop your players in-house using your youth system? You're going to see one version of Kellyman who spends 3 years away from Aston Villa, and we'll compare him to one that has been developed at Bodymoor Heath and Villa Park. For the first season of the experiment, Kellyman would play in League 2 on loan at Walsall. Even though he's stepping down in the quality of football played, he would benefit from a season playing adult football. He would make 44 starts and score 6 goals to give him an average rating of 6.62 on the season. Looking at his development graph, you can see he has had slight development in all 3 areas of his game. The biggest gains were in strength, vision, off the ball and anticipation. In the version of the player who stayed in-house, we promoted him to the first team and made him available to still play under-21s football. This allows him to have game time whilst also taking in first team training schedules. He would play in 11 first team games, scoring 1 goal. He would also play in 34 non-competitive games, scoring 15 goals. Looking at the graph of this version of the player shows he has had slight improvements in the technicals and mentals, but a major improvement in his physicals. The biggest gains here would be strength, vision and off the ball. For the second season, we would allow Kellyman to go on loan at former club Derby County. They were promoted to the Championship, meaning a step up in quality for the player. Whilst he was at Derby, he would play in 41 Championship games. In those games, he would score 6 goals and provide the team with 2 assists. Whilst in the Championship, he would have a 6.67 average rated season. His development graph is now showing major overall improvement in all 3 areas of his game. The biggest gains are in strength, jumping reach, vision, decisions, concentration and heading. In the version of Kellyman who stayed at Aston Villa, in the second season he would become a rotation or impact sub-player for the club. He would appear in 18 league games in the Premier League. He would also play in 3 cup matches and 21 games for the under-21s. Looking at his development chart, it shows a mixed bag of results. He has major improvement in the physicals, but only slight in the technicals and the mentals. He has had big gains in stamina, vision, off the ball, long shots and dribbling. He does though have some regression in penalty taking and tackling. For the final season of the experiment, we would send Kellyman out on loan to Southampton. They had just been promoted to the Premier League, so it represents another step up in class of football. The first thing to notice on his profile page is a lot of orange arrows. Whilst on loan at St Mary's, Kellyman would play in 35 league games and score 7 goals. He would provide 1 assist and achieve a 6.81 average rating in the Premier League. Looking at the final graph shows pleasing progress. He has shown major improvement in all 3 areas of the game. He now has an impressive set of physicals, gaining 4 points in strength. In his mental attributes, the biggest gain is 3 points in decisions. Finally, in the technicals, he has gained 2 points in heading and marking. Finally, let's look at the version of Kellyman who stayed at Aston Villa for the final season. On his profile page, you can see some orange arrows, but not as many as the version who went out on loan. In Season 3, he would become a first-team regular at Aston Villa, playing in 31 league games, scoring 10 times and providing 2 assists. He would achieve an average rating of 6.75. Looking at this version's progression chart, once again it shows a bit of a mixed bag. He has major overall improvement in his physicals, with some gains in most attributes. However, he only has slight improvement in the other 2 categories. He has gained 3 points in vision, 2 points in dribbling and long shots. He does, however, have more regression, losing 2 points in penalty taking and 1 in free kick taking. Putting the final 2 sets of attributes next to each other shows some confusing data. The lone player shows no regression, but the in-house player does. Both players had big gains in the physicals, but the lone player gains slightly more. In the physicals, despite the regression, it looks like the in-house player could be slightly ahead in the key areas for his position. In the mentals, the lone player has a clear edge, and I think that is what is going to tip it in favour of using the loan system. If you can get your player first team football at the right level of the game, you should take advantage of using the loan system to develop your players.